Last week was a reality check. I playtested the game and found out that I didn't even like it. The upgrade system felt flat, the progression felt off, but instead of ignoring it, I did rebuild it. That kind of decision costs time, but shipping something boring costs more. This is week 7 of me working 20 minutes every single day. The goal is to have a fully playable demo in June for Steam Next Fest, and then after that a full Steam release in July. And every subscriber that joins increases the max population in the final game. So this week the goal is simple. Fix what the playtest exposes, make a trailer I'm actually proud of, and then lock in the new Steam page with new screenshots, new GIFs, and a trailer that doesn't make me want to quit. This is week 7. I did a playtest with one of my friends, and from that I got a ton of great feedback. There's a few things that I did notice that's probably really important to fix. Because a big problem in the playtest was that he was basically just spamming industry areas beside each other, because they are the highest producing buildings, and to upgrade you need residential, and that's really only the requirement. So he basically just put some residential close by that had minus 100% in debuffs, but then he basically just upgraded the industrial area, which boosted it, and then placed commercial areas that got a huge synergy boost by surrounding them in industry areas. And to fix that, I have brainstormed a bit of how this could be done. So basically, right now we have 2 industry areas, and really I was going to place a third industry area or a set variable. All the other industrial areas in range would get a debuff, because there's a cluster of the same buildings, and we don't want that. I was thinking maybe there should be placement requirements, so that you need like 2 commercial areas and 8 residential areas in a big range to be able to place like 3 different industry areas. But I think the debuffs will work better. And to be honest with you, it shouldn't be too hard of change, because the synergy system that connects to all the buildings are already in the game. So really, I just want to prompt it to add a new cluster synergy debuff. So really just adding another option to that should be good enough. I have a terminal for my coding, so let's say add a new cluster synergy debuff to the synergy system. It should basically apply synergies when a certain number of buildings are in range. So it added a new rule, it updated the synergy manager to check for this so that it actually works. Let's create ourselves a new synergy. And this will basically just be industry x industry. And the buildings required should be 3. And maybe we want I think minus like 35%, maybe even 40% should work. Alright, let's see if this works now. If we place 2 industrial buildings, there shouldn't be a debuff, but there does seem to be. Let's see what happens if we actually place. Okay, so the visual shows a synergy debuff, but there's no actual debuff. But if we place a third building, let's see if it actually applies the synergy debuff. No, it still says plus 0% synergy debuff. If we place a 4th one, okay, now all of them seem to have gotten a minus. Fix so that preview in placement mode correctly works with this new system. Let's test if the new visuals work. It doesn't show the debuff, but it still shows the synergy. There should be no synergy changes, as it is supposed to be. And you can see that both of the buildings will affect this one, but nothing really. It might be confusing, but I think this might actually be a good thing. And if we place a 4th one, we get a huge debuff, because there's so many buildings in range. I think this blue highlight will actually be a bit too confusing, that there's no percentage over the actual industrial, but it's just highlighted. Fix so that the building isn't highlighted or has synergy lines, and that took just 30 seconds. If we place a 3rd one and a 4th one, it does highlight all of them. That's a really good start to this week. First, I did do some changes yesterday that will improve the click detection, because before it was using mouse hover events to detect if the player is selecting a building, and now it uses raycasts, which is way better. Like, it was hard to select a building a bit further away, but now you can actually do that with great accuracy. The thing we're working on today also came up during the playtesting. The range for the required buildings. Like, I have a building selected, but I have no idea how long this range is where I need 1 park and 10 residential buildings in the area. And I'm not sure how to make sure that this doesn't mix with the synergy range so that the player doesn't get confused. I'm thinking that there's gonna be some sort of like gray box just that shows up when you click and select the building, and on all the detected buildings there will be a check mark above them. And that's probably going to be one of the last changes I'm doing, except for some balancing. Then I'm going to send it to another playtester. So I started by brainstorming the idea a little bit. Claude, the AI coding agent, thought that, well, there should be a range quad, and instead of having check marks, maybe a green building tint similar to the synergy visualizer instead of having a separate like check mark visualizer, which might make the game feel disconnected. So I think this is a better approach. We already have most of the systems that are needed to trigger this. We just need the visuals. Now we have it. So there's apparently 4 different triggers and 4 responses. When the building is selected, circles appear and qualifying buildings tinted green. Now apparently it's using circles, so that's interesting. If we select a building, there is indeed a circle that you can't really see because it's under the actual ground. Let's try placing a building, and now we can see that it is highlighted in green. I think that might be a bit confusing because it's kind of the same green as when placing. Maybe we need to draw a line, but then I think it's going to be confusing with the synergies. Now we can see the line above the actual ground. Although I'm also not sure how accurate this range is, but I'm hoping and guessing that it is. I'm not sure if this is good or bad that they all are green, because they are required buildings for the upgrade, but there doesn't need to be this many. I think we'll keep that all of the required buildings are green, but I'm actually going to make them not green. I'm going to make them orange instead. If we have our buildings here and then select one, they show up in yellow with required buildings. And the buildings that are not required don't show up in yellow. And with that, I really just want to make a playtesting build. And that basically means just kind of removing and balancing a bit. So really, I think it's just a matter of building this scene and then sending it off to be playtested. With that, the new playtesting build has been sent to the playtester, as well as the 2 biggest gameplay issues, I guess you could say, from these playtests have been fixed. So now I really want to, well, change some of the Steam assets because they are a bit outdated. The thing I'm mostly bothered about with the Steam assets is the money gain animation. As you can see above every building in this GIF, there are money gain animations above the building, and I kind of hated them. And I believe that these last 3 should still work. The only 2 GIFs I'm going to be changing is the first one and the second one, which shouldn't be too hard because I already know exactly how to record them based on what I already have. But this time it will be without the money gain animation, and also maybe some other small updates. And I'm just going to get to recording them right now. So just like that, I basically have both of them recorded. Now they are basically the same as before, but now it's actually the new updated game. So we have the building one, the clip for that, and really I'm just going to remove these tracks and then speed this up quite a bit, just like that. And I mean, this might just work. Cut out the start. Now it's basically the same GIF. I think we'll make it a bit slower. I'm aiming for about 7 to maybe 10 seconds per GIF. And let's see how we're doing on the Synergy GIF. So this is the old one, which I mean, it's also during the night and it switches to day. So I didn't really like that part of it. Now I didn't take that into account when recording this one, so I might have done the exact same mistake, but hopefully not. I mean, this one is basically made so that you can see the synergies, well, synergize with each other. So I think I might also be changing this one, because this feature has actually changed. The tiles don't just come up from the water anymore, which they did before. Now you actually have to buy them. Like, I don't really like the camera angle, and also the percentage that shows up for a second there is cut out by the actual water. So I recorded actually 3 different ones. First I recorded this one during the night, and then I realized that maybe it shouldn't be during the night. I kind of went that this one might be a lot better, but then I also considered, because right now the land just basically comes up from this view. That's why I considered maybe there should be one where you actually see the UI. But to be honest with you, for a GIF, I think it's better without the UI. And the UI can then be shown in the trailer. And we'll just see all the 3 tiles come up from the water. And with that, we basically have 3 new GIFs. This time, they do feel a lot better than the last time, because, well, the game actually looks like I want it to look. So now I'm just going to upload these to the Steam page and make sure they are in the Steam description. Now I think it's time to get back to work on the trailer. About maybe 1.5 weeks ago, I made this trailer and didn't really show it off because I realized that I didn't like it at all. Mostly because, as you can see, there's a bunch of money gain animation in the trailer, which in my opinion disrupts the whole vibe. But obviously there's also the problem of the updated world expansion that isn't in the trailer right now. As well as during the night, there's basically no lighting at all far away, which has been slightly fixed. So really I want to retake most of these shots. But it's probably gonna be easier this time because, well, I've already recorded all the clips once, so I know kind of exactly how I want them to look. So now it's just a task of remaking them. So I think I'll do starting placements and potentially the synergies first. And then for last, I'm going to do the time lapse and more of a citywide camera drift. But let's start with the 2 easiest ones. Well, as kind of expected, it just took a few minutes. So the first placements with the 3 buildings at the start and then the synergies. And with that, I might actually get started on the building time lapse one. Because, well, it's kind of the next step in the trailer, so I think we should do that. And actually in the final trailer, I think I might split this up, so the first section of the time-lapse stops like right here, and then there's a few clips between, and then it cuts to maybe somewhere around this. It goes here, and then another clip, and then you know the rest. Okay, so the time-lapse one turned out to be quite a bit more difficult. Not because it was actually like hard to build and record, but I realized there was a ton of things that needed fixing. The hover pill being visible in the cinematic overview, which just looks off and weird. You could also see the percentages over the buildings, and there was also a tint on all the buildings when you try to upgrade them. And, well, the upgrade visualizer with the range doesn't look that good from this perspective. So I recorded a second version, which everything seemed to work. I had disabled all of it and it looked good, but then it turned out that I didn't actually fix the upgrade range visualizer because it tinted all the buildings still in a gold amber kind of color. I went back into Claude and added a few more, where a command for disabling synergy percentages and a command for disabling upgrade visualizers. And now it should all be ready to be recorded as it should, or there might be more issues, but I won't have time for that right now. Hopefully I'll be able to work a bit on it later today, or it will be more of it tomorrow. I've sat for some time today and also yesterday evening trying to create more of the trailer clips. And the thing with trailers is that most games or most trailers use a cinematic camera control system that just pans across some area in the actual game. The first clip I recorded that I'm not going to be using, I basically just ran the camera myself, which doesn't look that good. I decided to make a camera control system where you set the waypoints, you set the duration and the easing, and really there was no problem with that at all. But it kind of led up to the problem. But if I just run start trailer, you can see that I've set 3 waypoints across this city. Really, the first problem that occurred to me while doing this was that I would have to build an entire city, then set waypoints all in runtime and then run this command. But I do have save files already that I could load up, but then I would still have to remake the waypoints every time instead of being able to fine-tune them in the scene without being in the actual game. As a second tool, I decided to make a save preview where the editor basically loads in all the save files, the buildings in them and upgrades. This city right here is a save preview. So this made it about 100 times easier to actually record it, and I thought that was basically it. Now I would have a great looking shot of the entire city. I quickly realized that there's still quite a big problem with all the lights in the city are not actually lit up right now. because the URP has a max of 256 lights to render at one time, and every single block has street lights that are supposed to merge, and these lights do usually merge with no problem, but what I would need is that all these 4 lights merge and then become one light to be able to render more light across the entire city. So that's what I tried to fix next, which I added on the placement system with an option to merge all lamps on start. And it didn't really change anything at all. Even if I increased the radius of the merge, it didn't actually, well, fix it in any way. I really want to fix the trailer this week. At this point, I'm unsure if I will be able to, because the 2 hardest clips are still not yet done with the Open on the City, which is the one I've been working on, and the final city plus title. I still need to fix the lights for the actual trailer, and well, I'm not sure why I haven't done it before, but I'm going to bake the lights so that all the lights will be visible when the actual trailer or the camera runs through the entire city, instead of them being real-time updating. I'm going to load in some save files and basically put them together, and then bake the lights, and also remove all the trees on the expansions, because I would like to keep trees that are actually around the buildings and not inside the buildings. And it would be more efficient to, I guess, disable all the trees at the same time, but it would also make it look worse, because, well, there's no actual trees in the scene then. Now all the trees that need removing have been removed from the city, as well as some rocks. I also added a new industrial area right over here to balance that empty tile up a bit. And well, this is gonna be one shot where I span over this entire scene. And then I have also loaded in another save file right here. Once again, we have a bunch of trees that need removing on this one. But I want to build both scenes at the same time to avoid baking multiple times. Maybe we'll just also make like the industrial area a bit bigger to make the entire scene just feel a bit bigger than it currently is. And with that, I think it's actually ready to bake, which is gonna take quite a bit of time. So I've set all the light sources to baked, 1600 of them. I really hope this won't be an issue, but it could potentially be. I really just want this trailer to be done so that I can move on and actually publish the Steam page, because this, to be honest with you, has not been a fun part. Maybe it will go horribly wrong, or it will actually work out. I guess I will find out once I look at it. This has felt like a really slow week, but it actually started off pretty good. I got fixed the playtesting issues by adding the placement debuff synergies. I added a required buildings range so that you can see what buildings actually affect each other. And then of course working on the trailer, which has been quite a hard task. I've built some tools for it to be easier with the camera system, with the save loading tool in the scene, and then of course tried to record the various clips, and I've made some new clips. I've also made some new GIFs. But this has been, the problem for the last few days, getting the lights to actually work, to look good in the trailer. And hopefully this baking will do exactly that. Most days it has actually been way more than 20 minutes of work, and that might just be necessary at this point in the development cycle. But with that, I hope you've made progress on your game, and I will see you next week.